Hey there, you're watching Miss Mur, a channel where you can get your mystery and murder stories for low and high profile crimes in under 15 minutes. This is the case of Robbie McLennan, a 16-year-old boy who was brutally beaten and tortured for hours by his so-called friends until his final death. Robbie McLennan was born on March 30th, 1986, in Orangeville, Ontario, Canada. This is where he would work, hang out with his friends, and fish. He attended the local high school there and wasn't popular, but not an outcast as well. Robbie would sometimes get into fights with his mom, like most teenagers do. On April 10th, 2002, Robbie and his mother would get into a fight, and he would take off for the night, staying at a local youth shelter called Out of the Cold. Back in 2002, the shelter was located in a townhouse complex. This is where Robbie would meet William Bronson Panassi and Terry Baker. Terry was a local 16-year-old female, and Bronson a 20-year-old drifter from Scarborough. The two were dating and staying at the local youth shelter together. Robbie was only there one night, but the three struck up a friendship. The three of them would take on a quick volunteer position at the local campaign office, a job that they had gotten through the shelter. On April 18th, 2002, the three of them would head to Scarborough to hang out at a local bar there called Smiling Jack's. This is where his day of binge drinking would begin. They had later made their way back to Orangeville that afternoon and then split ways. Bronson would later meet up with Terry, Robbie, and a friend of Robbie's from high school at a local bar in town later that evening. Bronson would continue to consume more alcohol at the bar, and after the bar headed to the liquor store to buy more alcohol for all three of them since he was the only one of age. They walked the train tracks to the edge of town, eventually finding a spot to drink in the fields. Bronson would start complaining about feeling sick from all the alcohol he consumed, and would repeatedly shove his fingers down his throat in an attempt to throw up. This is when Robbie would laugh at Bronson for not being able to handle his liquor. This would immediately anger an alcohol-infused Bronson, and he would start punching and kicking Robbie repeatedly. For the next 3 hours, Robbie would be repeatedly tortured. Punched, kicked, burned with cigarettes, all this while having his arms stood on so he couldn't defend himself. In the morning of April 19th, 2002, Robbie McLennan's unrecognizable, badly beaten face and body was found by somebody walking in the fields. The coroner had reported 40 areas of distinct injury on Robbie's body, with blunt force trauma being the ultimate cause of death. But even the coroner was unsure of which blow was the one that killed Robbie. The three were caught later that day, and in 2005, William Bronson Panassi was sentenced to life in prison for first-degree murder, up for parole in 2030. The 16-year-old unnamed accused was sentenced to second-degree murder and only given 18 months in prison. This angered Robbie's mother, knowing that the boy who stood on her son's arms so he couldn't defend himself would be walking free with nobody knowing of the crimes that he had done. In 2006, Terry Baker was sentenced to first-degree murder. Her name was able to be released when she turned 18. While awaiting her trial in 2006, she had made several attempts to commit suicide, and after years of being in prison, bouncing in and out of solitary confinement, on July 4th, 2016, Terry Baker would tie a ligature around her neck and be found unresponsive by guards doing their checks. She died at the age of 30, 10 years into her prison sentence, soon up for parole. Her prison therapist stated that she could never get over what she had done to Robbie. There was a small path built after Robbie's death in honor of him, called Dragonfly Park, because Robbie loved dragonflies. Although walking down the path currently, there's nothing that has Robbie's name on it. No plaques or signs to remember him by, or that would indicate the horrific reason behind why this path was built. Just another tragic story for this small town. Do you really think that people who do these sick crimes should be let out into society again? Can someone with this sick of a mind be rehabilitated? Please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification button for my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching!